brothers and sisters living within the walls of the Miracle Box. On this special day, I brought you some delicious cheese.
With a new season starting off strong, there's much to consider about Miraculous Ladybug's future. The 5th season provided some shocking revelations that should continue to impact the series. One of the most significant is that Kwamis are much more than they seem. It's easy to forget that the creatures are more than adorable companions for Paris's heroes and that they predate human history. The Kwamis' involvement throughout the series has changed drastically over time, allowing them to become more relevant in the narrative. As of the 6th season, these magical creatures have undergone some changes that will make their appearances more worthwhile for the story and the audience. In today's video, I want to discuss how the Kwamis have changed compared to previous seasons.
Are you really sure about any of this, Marinette? Yes, but I'm going to fix my mistake.
Number 1. Speaking their mind. Marinette and Tiki have always had a close relationship. They're the best example of the wielder and Kwami partnerships as they care for one another deeply and value one another's opinions. In the past, they've discussed their problems and solutions openly without any repercussions. Times have changed, as I couldn't help noticing in the most recent episodes that Tiki lacks patience with Marinette's behavior. More than once in these episodes, Tiki has called out Marinette for fleeing from Adrien and acting out of turn. She can clearly tell that Marinette is starting to spiral and letting her anxiety get the best of her, and she tries to intervene before her wielder makes a mistake. She even implored Alya to stay over to ensure Marinette didn't act out of turn. I feel like Tiki often played a passive role in Marinette's schemes and convoluted plans. I can't count how many times in the earlier seasons Marinette followed Adrien, orchestrated events to spend more time with him, and prevented herself from having a proper conversation due to her racing mind. Tiki offered little interference during these times and focused on supporting and comforting Marinette when her plans didn't pan out. It's not that Tiki isn't supportive of Marinette in the new season, but she holds her to higher standards. If Tiki does expect Marinette to act more mature in the new season, I can understand why. Toward the end of the 5th season, Marinette overcame one of her setbacks by growing up and learning how to use her lucky charm consistently. She also defeated Monarch in a way and decided to keep a major secret from the rest of the world. Marinette is also older and more experienced, not to mention she's still the guardian of the Miracle Box and needs to keep tabs on her fellow heroes. These things require a certain level of responsibility that Marinette isn't showing in these latest episodes. Tiki said it best: she can't understand why Marinette continues to run from her happy ending now that she has everything she ever wanted. Marinette didn't even notice the countless times Tiki stopped her from transforming or completing her plan. I'd like to see this conflict play out throughout the season, resulting in Marinette pushing her Kwami away and forcing Tiki to become more outspoken about her opinions. Similar interactions between the other Kwamis and their wielders will allow their personalities to shine and show the audience essential things like their morals and values.
Tiki, spot! Marinette, I don't understand. You have everything you always wanted. Adrien is your boyfriend.
Number 2. Permanent wielders. The most obvious change between the seasons is that every Miraculous has a permanent wielder. In the past, Marinette handed out Miraculouses when their powers were needed and recovered them at the end of the day. This is no longer the case, as heroes are now operating throughout Paris daily. In the season premiere, the audience sees 3 of Ladybug's teammates patrolling Paris and solving everyday problems, proving that heroes are relevant even without an akumatized villain attacking the city. Having permanent wielders means many significant changes for the Kwamis. For starters, they each have a new home and rules they must follow. Instead of living in Marinette's bedroom and hiding in her sewing box whenever there was trouble, the Kwamis must heed the advice of their wielders and learn to coexist with them. Plague may know to stay beneath Adrien's button-up whenever they're on the go, but characters like Kagami, who has more attentive parents, may need to be stricter about where and when their Kwamis can show their faces. There are also personality dynamics between the Kwamis and their wielders that may not align. The first example that comes to mind is Juleka and Roar, who have 2 distinct personalities. The quieter Juleka may have difficulty getting along with her Kwami, who encourages her to raise her voice and speak her mind. We haven't had the chance to see many of the Kwamis' personalities shine, as they only reunite with their wielders on rare occasions. I'm looking forward to seeing how everyone adapts to living together and working as a team.
I thought I would multiply and shrink and sneak under the car, but I didn't have a chance. There you go!
Number 3. Experiencing the modern world. Aside from Tiki, Plague, Nuru, Waze, and Dusu, most of the Kwamis from the Chinese Miracle Box have spent most of the modern age dormant. After Feast devoured the Order of Guardians a century ago, Master Fu went into hiding with what remained of the box. He rarely allowed the Miraculouses to find wielders and only released the Ladybug and Cat Miraculouses to protect the world from Hawkmoth. The Kwamis are curious creatures who care about humanity's progression, allowing themselves to become connected to Miraculouses for the sole purpose of helping humans protect their world. They love learning about history, societal developments, and the modern age. It makes sense that not every Miraculous is active at the same time. If the Ladybug Miraculous had a wielder in ancient Egypt, it wouldn't mean that its fellow Miraculouses from the same Miracle Box also had wielders. These powers were only given out when necessary, meaning some Kwamis missed out on experiencing entire time periods. The series nods to these lapses in time through dialogue and character interaction. Kalki is an excellent example of this phenomenon. She speaks as if she's from medieval times, believing she's a horse meant for the noblest of knights. Once Marinette releases her from the Miracle Box, she marvels at the sight of cars, thinking they're an advanced form of carriage that doesn't require a horse for movement. These interactions make it clear that Kalki hasn't had a wielder in centuries and is still influenced by her last one. The Kwamis rarely had the chance to wander from Marinette's bedroom and were locked in tanks while with Gabriel. Now that they have wielders who have business across Paris and beyond, they'll each have the chance to explore the modern world in earnest.
Oh my, you have to see this! The carts are all moving on their own! There isn't a single horse here to pull them!
Number 4. Renewed connection with Nuru. In the second season, we learn that Kwamis can connect with one another through a ritual performed on their birthdays. These rituals allow them to open a psychic connection despite the distance. On Nuru's birthday, the other Kwamis banded together to perform a ritual, hoping it could tell them where their lost friend lived. Nuru felt the connection, as did Gabriel, who intercepted and prevented the Kwamis from finding him. They were devastated by this loss, and the series only takes place during a single school year, so they can't try again. Despite failing their ritual, the other Kwamis never gave up on Nuru. They reminded the heroes of him numerous times, knowing they had to leave his fate in their hands without a proper way to find him. It's a bit of a silver lining amid a terrible situation, but in the 5th season they see Nuru for the first time in a century. During their time with Gabriel, they're able to speak with their long-lost friend and experience his struggles firsthand. Terrified, mistreated, and forced to fulfill a villain's will, the now-freed Kwami should have a renewed ambition to save their friend and bring him home. After having Nuru within arm's reach and knowing he's the only one who didn't escape their bad situation, I expect the Kwamis to become increasingly vocal about his rescue, imploring their wielders to do everything they can to save him.
I must have those Miraculous.
But nobody knows where these Miraculous are!
I found you, though, my little Nuru.
I know that every wielder has the potential to take control of the Kwamis and demand their cooperation, but I'm glad we're only seeing that behavior from Lila. The heroes have always respected their magical partners and valued their insight, so I'm looking forward to seeing different friendships form between them. The Kwamis have spent over a century within the Miracle Box and have a lot to catch up on. As they explore the modern world, they'll have chances to interact with one another and learn more about the current heroes. There's a lot on the line for them as well, as they saw firsthand how much Nuru has suffered in the wrong hands. I hope their past experience with Gabriel will motivate them to help the heroes save their lost friend.
Oh, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Hello, my name's Max.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
Allow me to tell you all about the mini feats that a magic being like myself will help you accomplish once the magic words have been spoken.